Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, April 17th, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I take action for my basic needs or on my basic needs. Take care of your basic needs. So we have a very big astro week ahead. Anytime we have an eclipse, there's a certain level of intensity. Eclipses are meant to help us wake up. It's meant to shake us up. They're important for that. They're big astro energy. And this one in particular is big because it is hitting right at the end of Aries. Aries is a big and bold sign. But the 29th degree, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know I talk about it. It holds a lot of information. It holds all of the Aries energy. It's like an atomic bomb is basically the essence. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just the energy of it. Now, what's interesting is this eclipse is also bridging Aries into Taurus. So while the actual new moon itself that is with this eclipse is in Aries, the moon will then, within 15 minutes, within 15 minutes of the new moon, the moon is moving into Taurus. And then even before the whole eclipse is finished, the sun will also be moving into Taurus. And so it's bridging the I am and the I am worthy. And these are super, super, super important lessons for us. Final thing that I want to bring up about this, because this isn't the eclipse scope, but I think it's important to be aware of some of these things, is that this eclipse is going to be squaring Pluto. So we have Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. So the 29 Aries is squaring that energy. But as soon as the moon, 15 minutes after the peak of the new moon, moves into Taurus, and then the sun later moves into Taurus, we will have that square happening. And squares are challenging in astro, and Pluto is challenging in astro. So this energy has a little intensity, some oomph to it for us to be aware of. I guess I should also mention in this week ahead that we're also heading into our Mercury retrograde. We actually have Mercury going retrograde on the 21st. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've got some stuff going on this week. And that's why Monday and Tuesday, as the intensity is rising. Does anybody know that song? As I sat to do the astro, that was the song that popped into my head. But I don't actually know if it's a song. It may actually be different lyrics, but the lyrics were intensity is rising, and I couldn't find the song. And that drives me crazy when it's just the words and I don't know what song it is. So if you know the song, it's not intensity rising, by the way. I looked that one up. But that's the energy. We're in a build. And that's one of the first things that came through for Monday and Tuesday and even Wednesday as we build into the peak of the energies. It's like sometimes building into the energies is like climbing a mountain. So we're building into it, like the intensity is rising. Like here it is right now, and then by tomorrow afternoon it'll be here, and then, woo, going that way. So a lot of times our crankiness, beyond coming from frustrations and withheld desires, is because we are also not taking care of ourselves. We are not taking care of our basic needs. The food we need, the sleep we need, the downtime, the processing, to breathe, to actually sit and breathe full breaths, all of that. And hugs, touch, any and all of that is what I'm feeling so strongly that we need to connect into, because you don't want any little hangry sparks to set you off in this energy. All it's going to take is a little spark. And we don't need to spark a wildfire because we're hangry, right? If if your inner volcanoes need to come up and erupt, then hopefully it's spiked by intentional spark, right? I still encourage us all to attend to our inner volcanoes, our inner layers of everything as we build to this. I think that's part of our basic needs, the willingness to tend to these places within ourselves that can feel painful. But be intentional in your actions this week and take care of those basic needs. So today, for Monday, we have the moon finishing up in Pisces. The moon in Pisces will connect to Neptune right around noontime. It's definitely feeling a little lazy cat, I'll be honest with you. This energy, daydreamy. Here's something to mention. So, various astrologers, sky watchers, whatever, have different thoughts when it comes to working with eclipse energies. And I don't feed into negativity, right? So that's what I'm going to call it. So astrology comes from studying and watching patterns. And in studying and watching patterns in the ancient world, they would notice that pretty major things would happen around eclipses, right? Like, it's meant to help us shift. A lot of times those shifts weren't necessarily like, you won the lottery, because they didn't have the lottery back then, right? I'm not saying anybody's going to win the lottery, but there's so many, I'm looking for the right language in all this, superstition, it feels like, in events where darkness comes, right? Like, in this case, it is a total solar eclipse. And so, something's blocking out the sun. There's negativity. I don't subscribe to that. I do believe that eclipses are very powerful events to be utilized, and hopefully to be utilized for the good of all. And I believe when you are aligning in your path, that is for the good of all. So even if that's your intention with this eclipse, hold space for that, because this is powerful energy. And to me, the I am, and I am worthy, and I have beautiful gifts to share in my worthiness is so wonderful to plump up, puff up in this energy. So just keep that in mind. So back to this. Definitely kind of a quieter day overall. Void moon in Pisces, feeling a little quiet. Saturn as well is going to start connecting with the nodes. Saturn is moving to 4 degrees. The nodes are hanging out at 4 degrees. And so there's definitely karmic unfolding in this energy as we build to this eclipse. Be present for this. A lot of times we can have emotional strings attached to it that we're feeling. And again, this is where you need to tend to your basic needs. This is maybe tending to your emotions isn't a basic need, but maybe it should be. Tend to those places, tend to those soft places within yourself, because you are worthy of it. Saturn connecting to the North Node in Taurus, you are worthy of tending to these things that come up, these places that come up. The moon is going to move into Aries at 6:09 p.m. Pacific time and make its first connection with Pluto, preparing us for Wednesday into Thursday, depending where you live. So it is a sextile with Pluto, but watch if any rumblings start happening Monday evening. Watch for that, because that's giving you some signs like, this is where I need to tend to my volcano. This is where I need to tend to my energy. I set out to talk about how with Aries and Pluto energy, We could have authority issues coming up in and through this eclipse as well. And that definitely showed up in the cards. We are definitely moving forward, peeling through the layers, embracing our I am. It's the Chariot card. This is a card of winning, moving forward, winning. And yet, we've got some baggage. It's sheep baggage, right? It's heavy. It's conditioning. It's old stuff. It's the shoulds. How you've been told to be. And that may be the spark that you need to look at this week and tend to within yourself to spark you to be like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to let go of that conditioning. I'm going to let go of that sheep. And I'm going to stop compromising myself. I have the compromise card, which is the don't compromise card. Now, at the same time, we're all living here together, and we've got to be conscientious of that. And so there's a balance in that. And just keep that in mind. Some of us need to be a little bit better, more like, I'm doing me. And some of us need to be like, and you do you, and I'm not going to, like, suck up all the oxygen. So be aware of that. Individual lessons. We've got the experiencing card. The experiencing card is like, there is so much growth in this for us, which is beautiful. It's growth and it's expansion in and through these energies. But it always signifies that it's not always easy, right? You're meant to experience these things. There's lessons in them. It may not be your favorite, and that's okay. So, I'm going to leave that here for today. Tend to your volcanoes, tend to your basic needs, and you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com for that. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.